What's up, guys? It's Joel, Puncher's Paintball, and today we've got the battle of the greats. We've got the Planet Eclipse high-end paintball markers here at Punisher's Paintball. We've got the Planet Eclipse CS3, the new Geo R5, and the Planet Eclipse LV2. We are here to do a comparison video across all three markers, which I don't think we've ever done that in the store before. Usually it's just one versus one, but today we are going to shoot all three of these. We are going to compare all three of these markers to give you guys what we think is the best of the Planet Eclipse high-end paintball markers. So with that said, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys after the intro. So here we are, we've got the CS3, we've got the Geo R5, and the LV2 in stock here, and we are here to distinguish which one is the best. But before we do that, we are going to break it down with all of our different elements here and talk about each one of them. We're here with Cody behind the camera. He's going to be keeping me in check and adding on some comments because we play two different positions on the field, so it'd be good to have Cody's input. Right, Cody? Mm-hmm. All right, so first and foremost, the first thing that we always talk about when we do a comparison video on markers is the packaging. All three of these markers are very similar when it comes to the packaging, so we are actually just going to unbox one of them. So we've got the CS3 here. The CS3 does come in this nice box. Most of the time the cardboard just gets thrown away eventually, but it does come with this really nice case. All three of these markers are going to be offered with that case. It's very nice. It does not dent as compared to Planet Eclipse previous cases, which did. As you open it up, you've got all these different slots here. You've got the barrel cover, you've got the parts kit, and then with the Geo R5 and the LV2, we're going to touch on a few different things that those two markers are going to come with that the CS3 will not come with. You've got the color manual and then your Allen keys with all three of those. So when it comes to the difference between these three guys, it's going to be a tie across the board between all three of these markers because they're exact same when it comes to the packaging. One last thing with the packaging. With the LV2, you are going to have a parts kit, but with the parts kit, you are going to have a light ramer and a heavy ramer. That's for adjustability with the marker. With the Geo R5, one thing that I'd like to mention is that you are going to have a brass SFR that you can put into the marker, as well as extra eye covers, which are a little bit different with the Geo R5 as compared to the CS3 as compared to the LV2. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Next thing, barrel. Once again, it's going to be a wash between all three of them. It's got the S63 barrel system across the LV2, the Geo, and the CS3. They're all three of them are going to come with two inserts, so there's really nothing to be said about that. Next up, the feed neck. Once again, tie across the board, all the same. Eyes, this is where things change a little bit between the three. So with the LV2, it is toolless, but you are going to have to take your grips off, which I guess technically you got to take the grips off on all three markers. And then with the LV2, it is a cable system, which is Planet Eclipse's kind of like older style of an eye system. So you're going to take your grips off. There is a latch mechanism right here. You're going to undo your latch mechanism and your eye cover is going to come off. As you guys can see there, that is the cable system that I'm talking about. The older style Geos came with that, and then basically everything old school Planet used to come with that. So that is definitely, in my opinion, probably one of the downfalls of the LV2. The Geo and the CS3 are going to be slightly different here, guys. So the Geo R5 is a little bit different with the eye covers, and basically Planet Eclipse has done something different with the Geo as compared to any of their other models with the CS3 or like the G-Tech 180R, guys. So as you guys can see here, this grip actually covers the entirety of the frame. The idea there is twofold. One, it's for better grip for those players that like to hold their marker up high, so that's a really nice feature. And then secondly, it also protects in between the body and the frame of the gun, so that's a nice feature. What they've done to compensate for the eye covers is that you've got this basically like this smaller eye cover that's completely hidden from the outside world, which is kind of nice because it should not get dirty. Or nearly as dirty as like the CS3 eye cover, so that's a nice feature. I could definitely see like these eye covers getting lost or whatever the case may be, so I think it would be nice for people to have like an extra one in their gear bag with the Geo R5. And then we've got the CS3 eye covers over here. pretty traditional. You're going to take your grip off. You're going to have the lever system, very similar to the Geo R5 as well as the G-Tech 180R. And then your eye cover is just going to pop off, as you guys can see there. The reflective portion is going to be right here on, let's see if we get that to focus there. So the reflective portion is going to be right on the eye cover, and then the eye cover just pops right back into place and locks into place with the lever, and then you put your grips back on. Cody, so which one do you like eye cover wise out of these three between the three? I personally like the Geo.
I like the CS just because I like the look of the eye covers.
Okay.
Like, there's really no difference in the performance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there might be though.
There might be, but
I mean, granted, like I've never seen the eyes get dirty from, like I've never seen somebody get shot with their CS3 to the point that like it messed their eyes up on their CS3.
Yeah.
So I guess from a probably not. I mean, the grips, allowing the grips to come up further with the Geo R5. So with that said, guys, I'd say it's probably close to a tie. I'm picking the Geo, Cody's picking the CS3, so we do have a little discrepancy between those two. All right, next up, sorry, I had to pull up my comparison sheet here. Next up, guys, is going to be battery changing between these three markers. These two, the Geo and the CS3, is going to take 2 AA's. They're both very similar as far as functionality between the two. And then the LV2 is going to be a little bit more complicated because one, it takes a 9 volt, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but then also you have to take the grip off on the back portion of the trigger frame, which is a little bit more complicated. I mean, it's not bad, but like we're really talking about small things here, but if you really want to get complicated, or if you really want to get into it, the easiest one to change is going to be the CS3 or the Geo. AA's is just a little bit cheaper than...
It's easier because your hopper has AA's also.
That too. Most people have AA's in their hopper, so I'm going to give it to the CS3 and the Geo R5 when it comes to that. Next up, trigger. Once again, tie between the CS3 and the Geo R5 when it comes to those two. A same exact trigger system between the two. 5-point adjustable. With the LV2, you're going to get a 4-way adjustable trigger. The reason why this is 5-way adjustable is because you can actually adjust the angle of your trigger shoe back and forth. But with the LV2, you cannot adjust that, so it is, not as good when it comes to that. So naturally, like, I've got to give it to the CS3 and the Geo R5 when it comes to trigger. Overall feel, though, I like the feel of the trigger on the LV2 more, believe it or not, because even though it's not as adjustable, I like the way that this feels. It's a little bit thinner of a trigger shoe as compared to the Geo.
It's hard for me to tell, just like when you're actually playing. Like, it's hard to tell, but like, yeah, I could see that.
Okay, but which one? Like, I
like the 5-way adjustable.
You like the 5-way adjustable?
It's just like any way you possibly want it.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So Cody's going to go with the CS3 and the Geo when it comes to that. I'm going to abstain from voting on this one because, like I said, I like the feel of that, but I also understand the 5-way adjustability of the Geo and the CS3. So next up, guys, we've got board/programming.
It's almost a wash.
It's a wash once again, guys. Across all three, it's a wash. There is more programming available with the LV2 because the LV2 is a more complicated gun when it comes to all the things that you can adjust with it, but some of that has to do with like adjusting regulators, which obviously isn't a board function, and I guess technically like you can adjust the dwell on all three, so I guess
it's the same program, like
it's the same board, guys. So we are going to once again give it a wash. ASA.
That's a hard one. I mean, it's a wash between the Geo and the CS, but I don't know. I kind of like the
LV2 ASA.
LV2 ASA a little bit more.
I'm going to go with you on that one.
Yeah.
I like the ASA on this.
Yeah, me too.
I think the reason why they go away from it on the CS3 and the Geo R5 is for weight savings purposes.
The milling would look a little weird if you put the same. If that LV2 ASA was on the CS3, the milling would just...
Yeah, it'd be a little bit different.
It would look a little weird.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So overall, I think Cody and I are both picking the ASA on the LV2. I like how streamlined it is. It just perfectly aligns with the frame. It's just like all one piece it's just integrated, and I love that about it. Ergonomics. Cody's starting to develop a strong opinion on this.
Yes.
Go ahead, Cody.
I like the CS3 more.
Okay, why?
I think it's the foregrip.
You like how skinny it is?
Yeah, I like the skinniness, and like there's an actual angle on the top. So like, I don't know, I'm not a big thumb over your gun kind of guy, and I don't like holding the very top as much.
Yeah.
So I like the CS3 more just because it's more angled. So
I'm gonna agree with you on that. I'm gonna agree with you. I think that the Geo and the LV2 are close. It's very, very finite differences between the two. I'm going to have to go with the CS3 as well. They elongated the Geo platform. I do like this, but overall, I just like how skinny and contoured. I think for me, the reason why I like the CS3 ergonomics is a little bit better than the Geos or the LV2 is because it's just a little bit more contoured. It's skinnier, but it's also like the way that the actual foregrip is angled and the way it's curved just seems to fit better in my hands as compared to the Geo or the LV2. The LV2 has really good ergonomics too. I'm a bigger guy. I actually really like the way that the LV2 feels in the hands. The thing that gets me about the ergonomics on the LV2, guys, is how wide this is right here, and the angle of the LV2 is actually the main reason why I choose not to shoot the LV2, because I know how to adjust these guns. I really like the shot of the LV2. If the LV2 trigger frame was angled more and I didn't feel like I was shooting low at all times, I'd actually probably shoot the LV2 over the CS3. But that is an absolute game changer for me. When the CS3 first got released, that's the main reason I choose to shoot that marker over the LV2. But I really like the way that the LV2 shoots and feels in the hands. It's just, if they made that trigger frame a little bit thinner, that would be it. But for me, that's the reason why the LV2 is not on the same standard as the Geo or the CS3. So for me, it's the CS3 ergonomically. Cody,
CS3. The LV2 would, I mean, it's a great gun. It's just way too big for me. I would never.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah. Next up, guys, we've got weight. So we're going to grab the scale. We'll be right back. All right, guys, so now we have our scale. I'm going to turn the scale on. Let me know if it's tiered there, Cody.
Yep.
Okay, so first off, we got the LV2. All three of these have an insert, and they all three have batteries.
2 pounds, 2.2 ounces.
2 pounds, 2.2 ounces. And then we've already weighed these a couple times this week, so we know, but this is going to come in at 1 pound, 15.9 ounces, or at least it should, right around 2 pounds.
Yep.
Okay, and then we've got the CS3, and that should come in right around 1 pound, 15 ounces.
Yep, 114.9, so yep.
Wow, okay. All right, so there you guys have it. That is the weight between the three. The CS3 wins on that. All right, so CS3 wins on weight there, guys. Next up, we're going to talk about maintenance between these three markers. Maintenance-wise, I've got to give it to the CS3 when it comes to all three of these. The Geo is going to require a little bit more maintenance, although we've got roughly about 15,000 shots on this marker, and it is yet to fail us yet. We haven't lubed it, we haven't done anything to the marker. It is warm here in Ohio, but it's done great for us. The CS3, the way that Planet is wanting us to think about this marker is basically like it's your plug and chug marker. You're not going to have to maintenance it hardly at all. You know, a few times a year, whatever the case may be, and it's just going to work. And then you've got the LV2, which is going to require a little bit more maintenance. You've got two different regulators as compared to one regulator with the Geo or the CS3. You've got the LPR and the HPR are your two regulators. You've also got a rammer that you're going to have to pop out and put oil on. So you have to have oil as well as lube, because you're going to lube the HPR and the LPR, but you're going to oil your rammer. And then you've got the different eye system, which in my opinion is a little bit harder to maintenance, because you've got to take the cables out, clean the cables, and then make sure that the cables fit perfectly back into the eye cover. So for that reason, I'm picking the CS3 when it comes to overall maintenance. Cody?
100%.
100%, yeah. I mean, the Geo is really close maintenance-wise.
Yes, but you're going to have more to clean. There is more there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I'd be curious to. You know what? Let's solve this, because you keep on saying that, and I'm legit curious. I'm not trying to prove you wrong or right or whatever the case may be. I'm just curious when we're talking about like overall O-rings, like how many O-rings these two have, and there's only one way to solve it, Cody.
Well, we've proven that the solenoid has an extra O-ring on the Geo.
That's true. That's a good point. Yes, there is a number 4 size spool seal on the solenoid with the Geo as compared to the only 3 O-rings that are required on the CS3. It's
the ASA is the exact same now.
ASA is the same. So your bolt system on the GR drivetrain of the Geo R5, you're going to have your prop shaft here. That's going to have, I think, 2 O-rings on it. You're going to have 2 O-rings inside your can, a 17 and an 18, and then you're going to only have 2 O-rings actually on the bolt system. So overall, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly about 5 O-rings, 5 to 6 O-rings that are dynamic, meaning they see movement with the CS3 or with the Geo R5. With the CS3, you've got 3 on the bolt, 1 in the can, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 13s on the bolt guide, a 14 by 2 there, and then inside of here. So you actually more dynamic O-rings with the CS3, because I mean, keep in mind guys, like when it comes to overall maintenance, all you're going to do is you're going to take these bolt systems apart, which they all come apart the same way. You're going to wipe them off, you're going to throw some lube here, some lube on your bolt, some lube on your can, and you're going to put it all back together. With the Geo, same thing. You're going to take it apart, you're going to lube your bolt, you're going to lube your can, you're going to lube your prop shaft, and if you really want to take this apart, you can, but I don't think it's necessary, maybe once a year, and that's about it. So for me, I don't know.
I mean, there's less to lube on the Geo, so technically the bolt on the Geo is less maintenance in then.
That's true. I mean, if we're talking about rebuilding it, then yes.
Yeah, how easy is it to take that prop shaft out?
Easy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's easy.
Then the Geo wins. Hate to break it to you, less to lube.
Yeah, but you got a good point though,
because
when it comes to that there is one more O-ring that's...
Yeah, and you have an SFR that you have to clean.
What Cody's saying, guys, is that there's one more O-ring on that solenoid, which we were just talking about. The thing that's unique about the O-ring that's on the solenoid in the event that you were to have a leak or whatever is the fact that it's specific to the Geo. It's a number 4, whereas there's a 6x1 and 2 6s on the solenoid spool with the Geo. There's a 6x1 and 2 6s on the CS3. So solenoid-wise, they're very similar, except this has an extra unique O-ring to it. So overall, guys, like, they're both going to be very easy to maintenance. I'm going to give it a wash. Me personally, I'm giving it a wash, Cody, between the two. Because like it's the same process.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like lubing the bolt's going to be the same process. You're not saving a step on either one of these markers, but there's technically less O-rings on the bolt when it comes to the Geo as compared to the.
Yep.
So there you guys have it for whatever it's worth. And then when it comes to the LV2, you've got 3 O-rings on the ramer. You got a bunch of O-rings on your LPR and your HPR housing, and then 1 O-ring on each piston.
You have your bolt.
Yeah, and your bolt, but I mean, your bolt should never really, like, you know, that should just be simply popping it out, wiping it down, putting it back together. There's technically 3 O-rings on there, which I think they're either 14s or 15s. So yeah, so I'm going to go personally with either the Geo or the CS3 on that. Build quality, reliability.
To wash.
Wash. Tech support, guys, between the 2 markers. All 3 of them are Planet Eclipse. They're going to be almost at all your events, so there's really nothing to talk about there. And then upgradeability, before we get into the shooting portion of this. Upgradeability, it's going to be close between the Geo and the CS3 as far as what you can upgrade. They're both autococker thread. Well, actually all 3 of them are. The LV2 is autococker thread as well. You've got different triggers that you can put on the LV2, different triggers that you can put on the CS2 or CS3 and the Geo, which take the CS2 trigger.
The wash. I mean, you can't. It's not upgraded.
Well, hang on. We forgot about one thing. We forgot about mech frame.
Yeah.
So if you guys are mech, you can't mech this. They're not going to offer a mech frame for this, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So technically, I guess the CS3 would win, because if you want mech,
considered an upgrade, yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. So there you have it. That is the breakdown between all 3 of these. Very, very similar across the board when it comes to this. There's a lot of similarities between the Geo platform and the CS3 platform. One thing that I want to press on, and I'll talk about this again, but one thing that I want to press on is that all 3 of these markers are unique in their own rights. And, you know, Planet Eclipse told me that, and I was like, started thinking about it, like, they really are. Like, if you think about it, like, the CS3 is your plug and chug. It's designed for the player that doesn't really want to think about what they're doing. They just want to go out, have something that's going to work no matter what the environment. The Geo is going to have that like middle grade where you can adjust certain things on it, but it's not going to get too extreme. You are going to be able to pop in the brass SFR if you want smoother shot, as compared to the stainless steel SFR, which is designed for all different elements. It's going to work in extreme conditions such as extreme cold up here in the Midwest. And then you got the LV2, which is fully adjustable. You can adjust your LPR, you can adjust your dwell, you can adjust the different 2 rammers that are offered with the Planet Eclipse LV2. So you know, they're all very unique in their own rights. But with that said, guys, we're going to see you guys outside. We're going to talk about shot quality, efficiency, and paint handling, and then give you guys our final opinion. So now we're outside with all 3 of these beautiful markers. We've got the LV2, the CS3, and the Geo R5. The Geo R5 we've been testing. This is a beautiful used marker. And then we got a new LV2. All 3 of these markers are set to stock, completely stock settings, and we are here to tell you guys which one we like the most, shot quality wise. So without further ado, come on over here, Kenzie. For reference, we are shooting the same paint through all 3 markers. So we've got the Geo R5 here. All right, so first shot, 277, 298, 296. Cody, you got the LV2.
You got the chrono?
There you go. 280. 284, 282. Alrighty, so we've got the Geo R5. We're gonna do a shooting here. This is with the stainless steel SFR in it at the medium setting here, guys. Cody? All right, switch. All right, shot quality wise, which one do you like more between the LV2 and the Geo?
I like this stock. I hate to break it to you, but if we tune that and we tune this, I think I'd like that shot more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, but just bone stock between
Bone stock,
the 2.
I'd have to take this.
The Geo?
Yeah, I just can't do the. I mean, it's a different type of gun, but I can't do the thing shooting, like moving in front of my
I don't
face.
know. They're both really smooth.
That's
but
what stock, it's like.
it's tough.
It's
They're
almost
both
there.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's close to a tie. Okay, so now got the CS3 here. All right, CS3. And chrono, just to make sure we're there. 286, 267, 256, 266, 281. So they're kind of all over the place, but okay. So CS3. Cody? All right, switch. We both shoot the CS3 right now. Okay.
Grabbed it. I was like, why is it so much smaller? I realized the tank under it.
Yeah, I got a 90 on my gun, guys.
I'm like, it's up against my face now. Significantly louder.
Okay. Go ahead, Cody. Your opinion.
I mean, stock shot, I like that shot more.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Sound on it, I like the sound too, but like overall feeling, I don't know, I just like the way this feels in my hand. It's a foregrip for me on that.
Yeah, so like...
But like overall, like the shot and the sound on that gun is definitely smoother and like better.
Yeah.
But I also like a snappier shot, so.
That's fair. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is the shot quality between all 3 of these markers. Definitely the CS3 was the poppier, more loud shot out of the 3. The Geo, you could do a little bit of tuning with the Geo. Go check out our difference on the SFR, the stainless steel SFR as compared to the brass SFR. We just wanted to do a base stock video because the LV2 can be tuned. You can do things to the Geo R5, whereas like with the CS3 is what the CS3 is. So overall, shot quality wise, me personally, I was tied between the Geo and the LV2. I like the way that the LV2 shoots. From a spool valve perspective, the Geo is the closest thing that I've been able to witness to get as close to a smooth shot as the LV2. So I'm really impressed with the way that the Geo shoots. So overall, if I'm like have to pick one, I'm probably going to pick the shot quality of the Geo R5. Cody?
Me too. Personally, just because I don't like the thing like coming, like shooting in my face like all the time. But shot,
the bolt.
Yeah, overall shot, it's like a tie.
Okay. Between the LV2 and the Geo?
Yeah.
But there was definitely a noticeable difference between the kick and the sound signature with the CS3 as compared to those two. Efficiency-wise, guys, we've done an efficiency test on all three of these, so feel free to look those up separately. But just real quick, the LV2 on an 80-45 fill at 4,200 PSI got 1,500 shots, 1,501. The Geo R5, which we just did that efficiency test, got right around 1,600 shots. The first signs of drop off, like we normally do, we are actually at about 1,550. And then with the CS3 is going to be the most efficient. That got 1,670 shots. So the CS3 wins when it comes to efficiency. The last thing that we need to touch on is paint handling between the three. Which one's going to handle brittle paint the best? Honestly, like,
it's going to be a tie.
It's going to be a tie across the board, guys. Like,
it's PE. They're going to be great.
Yeah, we've done a brittle paint test on all of these. I think out of the brittle paint test that we've done, the LV2 was the most impressive because we were shooting super brittle pro sharp 15 balls a second, and it purred like a kin. No problems whatsoever. The Geo, out of the testing that we've done, has had zero issues. Same thing with the CS3. Cody and I have been shooting the CS3 for well over a year.
CS3, it was like 15 degrees out here, and it was still shooting.
Correct,
we were trying to mess it up.
Yeah, that's true. We were purposely trying to mess it up. So there you guys have it. When it comes to paint handling, we're just going to say tie across the board. Now, let's talk about value real quick here, and let's talk about which one we're picking. 3 different price points between the three. So I spoke with Planet Eclipse about this. They are still saying that they go with the CS3 as their flagship, most high-end marker. It does reflect that on the price point. You're going to be at $1,750 for the CS3. You're going to be at $1,650 for the Geo R5, and you're going to be at $1,600 for the Planet Eclipse LV2. I think that for me, they are all great in their own rights. Obviously, like some things had more points than others when it comes to like tunability, upgradeability, and all that stuff. But they're all just different, guys, in their own rights. Like the CS3 is that plug and chug. You're going to air it up. You're never going to have to worry about it. It's going to work in cold. It's going to work in warm. It's going to do everything that you want it to, but there is no tunability. Geo R5, Cody?
It's pretty much tunable CS3 with a like softer shot.
Yeah, so exactly. There's going to be a little bit of tunability. So you're going to be able to mess with it a little bit. It's spool valve operation. So that is kind of nice about the Geo. If you want a little bit of tinkering, you're going to be able to do that with the Geo as compared to the CS3. Cody, the LV2, your favorite?
Well, I mean, it is.
Be honest with people. Tell me what you said at the store.
It's just too big. All right, it's too big. I don't know. The weight on it is just, and I can't do the bolt. I'm just not an LV guy.
Okay.
I just can't do it.
Okay, that's fair.
Other than that, I love the shot. I love how you can tune it, and I think it's probably softer than any gun on the market.
If you tune it.
Yeah. If you tune it, it's probably the softest shot on the market.
I would agree with that. If we're talking about tuning the shot quality, the LV2 wins.
Yeah.
Base factory, I'm going with the Geo. But even with the Geo, with the brass SFR all the way to the negative, as compared to a really well-tuned LV2, the LV2 is going to win.
LV2 is going to. It's like almost shooting nothing.
Right. But you're a front guy.
I like the CS3. I mean, it's my shot preference at the end of the day. Like, I like a snappy shot. Like, when you're shooting the CS3, I mean, you're shooting the CS3.
Yeah.
I mean, tried and true, it doesn't break ever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is ever broken to the point of not being usable on the CS3.
Okay.
I like the ergonomics of the CS3 a little bit better. It's a little bit longer of a platform here.
The Geo.
Yeah,
the Geo.
It might just be the front grip, but like the CS3 is mine just because tried and true. It's never gonna break.
It's a little bit smaller.
It's a little bit smaller.
Out of the three, it's the most compact.
Yeah, it's the most compact. As a snake player, I don't like a long setup. Like I use a 77 and a small gun.
Right, you're a snake player. You're gonna want something that's small to get the job done. For me, guys, if I'm gonna pick one out of three, like if I have to pick, I'm probably gonna pick the Geo R5, just because I like the fact that it's a little bit smoother shot. I'm still getting the same level of efficiency. I do maintain my markers a little bit, so like enough to get by with the Geo R5. Like, you know, we've got 15,000 shots on this marker. We haven't lubed it. It's still working just fine. It is warm outside. I'll be curious to test this marker out when it gets cold outside with the stainless steel SFR. It shouldn't be a problem with the brass SFR. We'll see. But overall, like if I'm going to have to pick one, I'm probably picking the Geo R5 overall. I like the longness of it. I like the shot of it. It's roughly the same efficiency. The LV2 for me, Ergonomically, the only reason I don't like the LV2 is because the trigger frame is more vertical as compared to the trigger frame on these. I just happen to shoot better with the trigger frame because the trigger frame on both these markers is almost identical.
That, and you like a thinner back grip.
I do. Yeah, I do like a thinner back grip.
It's a huge, I mean, it's a big gun.
It is a big gun.
That's
for
its
sure.
only downfall.
Yep. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is the battle of Planet Eclipse's high-end markers. You've got the CS3, the Geo R5, and the LV2. We've given you guys our opinion on it, but make sure that you guys check out all 3 of these markers at your local field and make sure that you shoot them. All 3 of these great markers are going to be a great purchase. You're not going to go wrong with any of the 3, but we wanted to do an official boom, boom, boom between the 3 because people have been asking for it. So with that said, guys, make sure you stay tuned for more great content, and we'll see you guys with the next video.